you're hurt because it seems everyone moved on after your abortion, but you. I'm your mentor, Jane, and I'm going to warn you, you're going to hear some tough love from me in the next few minutes as I explain 4 reasons why that's probably true. But I'm also going to explain how you can move on with your life too. The first reason people move on after your abortion is because they're not the one who lost your child. This is hard to hear. No one feels the same way you do because this was your baby. You're a mother, and when God created this life in you, there's now a bond that will never be broken. So you're bound to feel the loss more deeply than anyone else. Besides, the abortion happened in your body. If you took the abortion pills, you're the one who experienced the cramping and bleeding. Planned Parenthood calls it pregnancy tissue, but you know what you saw and disposed of. If you had a surgical procedure, you remember the sound of the machine and you felt the pain, not anyone else. Now, I know this can hurt to hear. It hurts me to say it. I don't want to add to your pain. I only want to help you understand why abortion has affected you in ways no one else can understand. Well, except one person, but I'm going to get to that later in the video. A second reason people move on is that we're all basically self-centered. Looking out for number 1 has been important for survival for as long as there's been human beings. However your pregnancy impacted someone, once the immediate crisis was over, their focus shifted to their next problem or need or goal. That's not to say they don't care about you. It's more about their paying attention in the moment to their own sense of well-being. A third reason people stop talking about or asking you about your abortion is, well, they feel guilty. Whether he's the father of your baby, your parents, your sister, or a friend, they played a part in influencing or carrying out your decision to have an abortion. Witnessing your grief is a reminder of how they let you down and how you've been deeply hurt. The fourth and last reason why it seems everyone moved on after your abortion, but you, is that they simply don't know what to say or to do. Think about how awkward it is for you when someone you care about experiences a death in their family. You might go to the funeral, send flowers or a card. You probably tell them, "I'm so sorry for your loss." But with abortion, there's no funeral, and it's rare anyone even acknowledges there was a death. After someone tells you they're sorry for what happened, if they do, they don't know what else to say. They may assume it will be better for you, and sure, more comfortable for them, to move on, not talk about it. They want you to get on with your life. So they do their best to act normal. They don't realize that nothing will ever be the same for you, and you need ongoing support. Now, let's take a deep breath, because this has been a lot of tough stuff to hear and think about. But I'm not going to leave you here. In a minute, I'll give you some next steps to help you move on. My only goal with these videos is to help you heal after abortion and to go on and live a good life, the good life God wants for you. But not just any life, a life with Jesus at the center of it. Now, before you click off, will you just hear me out and why that can make such a difference? Even if you don't agree with everything I've said, I bet you've heard at least a little bit of truth in why you've been abandoned by people you love and trusted. Did you know there was a time when even Jesus felt that way about his own dad? He cried out, my God, why have you abandoned me?" But God didn't abandon him. He removed all his suffering forever. Suffering is one of the loneliest and most isolating experiences. What I've learned in my own healing journey is that no person, no matter how much they love and care for me, can comfort my pain after having 3 abortions. No one can replace my guilt and offer me hope that I can still have a good life. Because human beings simply aren't made that way. But God is. Wherever you are in your spiritual life, if anywhere, when you're ready to know more about Jesus and how he will fulfill your need for healing, take a quiet minute and ask him to help you. He'll meet you where you are and lead you to your next step of faith. Now, I promise to give you some options to move past hurt, anger, and disappointment towards people who moved on after your abortion. One step is to get really clear about what you want now. To do that, make a list of people and write down specifically what they're doing or not doing that's upsetting you. Now, what do you want them to do instead? If this is someone from the past, what was it they did or didn't do? And what specifically should they have done differently? What do you want them to do now? Now, one more question. How will that help your healing? How will that enable you to move on, get past grief, and start building a new life? You may find that, like me, what I really wanted was someone to listen to me, to understand my pain. I wanted that more than I wanted to listen to them and understand theirs. And if that's the case, I encourage you to consider joining a post-abortion support group. It was in my Rachel's Vineyard groups where a lot of my needs for understanding, comfort, and hope were met. I put some links to Rachel's Vineyard and other support groups in the description below. But if joining a support group is too overwhelming for you, you want to start something on your own, I've also listed some books in the description below that can help you get started on your own. Sometimes the person we're struggling the most with is the father of our baby. If you want to better understand how men handle abortion, check out these videos. You can learn about how emotions drove their behavior before and after the abortion. And you'll also learn why coming to that understanding will help you in your own healing. Thank you for watching. I'm your mentor, Jane.